please take this with like love and respect. That sounds terrible. It's a conflict deal. One person doesn't want to sell, one person does, and I get to talk to attorneys. Like, miss me with this niche, right?
In our community, we say, if not me, then who? If I'm not going to stand up and advocate for these parties who they're going through the worst time in their life. They're not bad people. They're just going through the time of their life. And if somebody doesn't stand up and guide them through it, who? Like, and oftentimes we see nobody does, and they lose. They lose money. They lose the house. They lose any ability to move on, start over, have a better life.
You talk about it privately. We talk about it publicly. This is the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered podcast. Welcome again to the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Dwiggy, along with Mr. Crazy Uncle Keith.
What up, Dwiggs?
You know, Friday, we color matched, we coordinated.
I'm easy to coordinate with.
We are. We went into this being total goofballs and came out of this actually loving this podcast.
Yeah, better humans, really.
But like it was awesome to listen to her. So we had Megan O, she's a team lead, eXp Realty. Keith, just tell them the background, because this was such it was actually almost inspirational in a way for like the God's work that she does.
Yeah, so. You are correct. She talks to us about how she went from a paralegal to a top agent in Dallas, Texas, how she found her niche, which is very interesting, and the motivational part that James is alluding to. The importance of going from generalist to specialist, the power of passion in your business, her desire to help people was what was really, really motivating. She specializes in clients going through divorce. So if you think about a difficult real estate transactions, those are usually the most difficult. And she is running towards those, not away from them like the rest of us do. She really does give us a master class in anchoring into the human component of residential real estate, why what we do matters. And that if you can go after things that other people are afraid of, you can usually get your unfair share. So, and then the passion piece, if you got to be passionate about it or it never works. So put this one in your ears, kids. And hey, why don't you tell us in the comments what you're passionate about? Because let's be honest, the industry needs more of that. Put it in your ears, kids.
Hey guys, the industry certainly isn't lacking advice or opinions. Lord knows you get enough of that on this show. But with all the change brings opportunity, and businesses willing to evolve are the ones that are going to grow. What actually makes the difference is knowing what to do next and having the systems to follow through. That's what Zillow Unlock is built for. This isn't a conference where you leave inspired and then go back to doing business the old way you did before. You'll get insights powered by Zillow's more than 200 million monthly users, playbooks from agents running high-performing businesses, and hands-on sessions designed to help you build the systems when you get home. Crazy Uncle Keith and I will be there, so come join us at Zillow Unlock 2026. This is where the industry's best and brightest come learn how to supercharge their business. Secure your ticket today at unlockconference.com and use discount code REIU20 to get 20% off your ticket. Secure your spot today before prices go up. We'll see you there. Megan, welcome to the show. We are, first of all, viewers, listeners. Yeah. It is Friday.
Oops.
When we are recording this. Keith and I called each other to match our shirts.
First of all, as the audience knows who watch this show, I wear the same thing every day. So if you ever want to match me, you know how. Anyway, keep going.
We told Megan, who thankfully showed up today because she's regretting her decision, that it is Friday, and we've been laughing, all three of us, hysterically in the green room today. So you all are in for a fun show.
She is absolutely classing up the joint. If you're just listening, James and I look like, the required black t-shirt. She looks presentable, professional.
Thank you.
Great. You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm going to wear white tennis shoes later and see if my wife says something about my look with blue jeans. So let's see where that one goes. Anyways, there's that. Megan, so enough about us. We're actually really excited to have you for a lot of reasons. We've started moving the pod down a very specific niche in the market. And, I know you specialize in that. We're going to talk about that a little bit, what you do. Yeah. Let's start with your background. Give them, just a little bit about how you got into this crazy industry, and ended up on this show. But we'll start there, and then Keith will probably have some follow-ups on that, and we'll do rapid fire like we normally do. So we want to get that information out, and then we'll dive into all the cool stuff you're doing.
Awesome. So, well, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks for being here.
Excited to have you.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm in the Dallas market, and I got licensed as an agent in 2016, went out on my own in 2018, went to Keller Williams, then Compass, and now I'm at EXP. And before becoming a real estate agent, I worked as a paralegal for real estate attorneys and litigation attorneys for about 18 years.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got questions.
Oh, yeah. I'll just let you two talk.
I got questions. But keep going. Go ahead. Keep going.
So got licensed in 2016, and then full-time left the legal profession, went into business pretty quickly, found out this is what I want to do, and started to build a business. And a couple of years in, started to build my team. And now here we are in 2026 with a team. And we're servicing the Dallas area and north of Dallas, Collin County area as well.
Nice. Okay. So I got a question. Yeah. So you're a paralegal, you're doing all of that, right?
Well, with real estate attorneys, by the way.
Right.
Let's not leave
and
that out.
And then you still thought maybe real estate? Like what was that like as you transitioned from, the legal side of
don't hold back
this industry to, look, I love this industry. There's really no other place that I could be. But it's the land of fruits and nuts, right? Like it's crazy over here on the real estate side. So what was that like going from, the attorney's office to the real estate industry?
Oh, yeah. I love that question. I do get asked that a lot by my clients by other agents. So in 2008, I had been working for litigation attorneys doing just business litigation and asbestos litigation, very boring type stuff, right? But we all know what happened in 2008, and the HR said, "Hey, there is an opening in real estate, and they desperately need help. Go up there," which was another floor. So I went up to another floor and started reading real estate contracts, and this was basically the servicers who had gobbled up the assets from the banks that had gone under and were foreclosing on them, and then doing REO, real estate owned workouts. This is all of the legal stuff entailed with that. And I fell in love with that stuff, ironically, and really enjoyed reading the contracts and learning how the attorneys structured these deals. We sold everything from mega malls to little tiny gas stations in Louisiana worth nothing, right? We did the foreclosures in Texas, and assets were all over the 50 states. It was some of the coolest legal work I'd ever done. And then in 2012, I moved to a smaller firm that had just partnered with a hedge fund out of the Northeast to buy properties in Texas, single family properties, and turn them into a portfolio that they could sell. So this was kind of the height of the buying season in Texas.
Sure.
And so they acquired and amassed about 1,000 properties between the metros, so Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, over about a 3.5-year period. And I ran operations for this. So it was like getting an MBA in real estate, right? Yeah. There was a broker that came in and just sat in the office and ran, and she did all the contracts, and then we'd acquire the property. And now it's my job to make sure the rehab department has it, and then make sure leasing gets it out of rehab and puts a tenant in it. And then I'm with the attorney putting all the reporting together to go back to the hedge fund so that they can figure out what we own and what its value is. And they later sold it for 3 times its value to Blackstone, which was a very, yeah, I know.
They don't like real estate at all.
No. Very fun experience. On the operator side, we kind of got cut a little bit on what, we were supposed to make out of that deal, but that's kind of how it works.
Usually,
yeah. So after that, the attorney kind of turned a little bit more back towards the legal, which was helping the attorney or helping people buy, or he was an SEC attorney. So they would do private placements for apartment complexes or storage units or whatever they were putting together, these kind of deals, which was, again, how I learned about more real estate. The craziest part of that journey came towards the end of my time there, when these clients would call. They were the buyer or the seller, typically a buyer, after they'd purchased the property, so let's say at a 100-unit apartment complex, and they would call our office saying, what do we do now? How do we collect rent? What do we do?
Yeah.
And,
so they were ready.
And I'm like, where's your agent? Because I saw what they got paid. So where are they? And of course they're calling me because I'm cheaper than the lawyer to answer the question, which I didn't answer. I said, go back to your real estate agent. And that started me on this journey of going, maybe I should get a license. Right?
And here you are, top of the world.
Right?
Look at you.
And here I am. I've gotten a license, and then just after I left, a few months in, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. It was that advocacy piece for me. That's one of my core values.
Yeah.
And being able to advocate for the client to help them, get where they want to navigate. And I thought I might go commercial, but once I got into residential, no, this is my jam. And then
was it
we'll get back to my
part of it.
The human part.
But what's the fascinating thing about this? We say this often. We ask this question. Everybody enters this profession from such different angles. So and for where you were to coming into it is fascinating. I think what Keith was trying to allude to nicely was our industry has a lot of people in it who don't know what they're doing half the time, which makes sense why you come in to do that. But at the same time, I know when you talk to a lot of top producers, they get very frustrated how they'll make the comment, which you hear all the time. I end up doing both sides of the transaction for half pay.
I just jotted in my notes. Maybe we shouldn't, how I'm always railing about unprofessional agents. Maybe we shouldn't get rid of shitty agents, because how many times have we heard, I had a terrible experience with a real estate professional, and that's why I got into real estate. I mean, it's maybe 20, 25% of the time.
Probably.
So, it's interesting that people have an experience with our industry and think, I can do better than that. And often, not always, but often turns out, you're right. You can. Yeah. So glad you're here.
Yeah. Can I take that a little further? What you just hit on?
Ahead.
So,
sure.
So I worked for attorneys, right? And attorneys would not perform work without a contract and a retainer, right? Then they perform work. Right. So I get into real estate. I don't know what to do. Y'all teach me, give me some training, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and have a consultation and sign a contract. And then we're going to go show some houses. That's not what the industry did. And I was like, I'm going to do it this way. 1, because I don't want to be sued. 2, I want to be paid. Yeah. And 3, it's the right way to do it. And that's how I've always run my business from day one.
So you take a retainer?
No, not a retainer, but
I was like, dang, go ahead, girl. I was like, wow. Okay.
No, but
you have him sign it. You sign an agreement with him before you can do work for him. Right. So for you, the settlement was just like, why are we not been doing this for the past 30 years?
Yeah. It was like, duh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to rapid fire, because we're already getting into how to do real estate better. All right. Favorite book or podcast this year ever? What should I listen to or read based from Megan O?
I'm going to go with T. Harv Eker's The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And I reread it every summer. So
I haven't read that in a long time. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
I really like how he breaks down the concepts, and you can go in deeper and really just pick one to work through and go, okay, I'm like having trouble receiving right now, right? Like I need to be able to receive and open my mind to that. And it will help expand your universe. That way.
That's a good one.
So I really like that book. Classic.
Yeah. All timer. Yeah. It's a good one.
All right, Minds, if you could have lunch with one person, current historical, who would it be and why?
It would be Larry Kendall, who wrote Ninja Selling, because I'm a ninja. And I would love to pick that apart and figure out just what all he's learned from working with so many ninjas and seeing it grow over the last several decades.
That's a good one.
That is a good. No one said him before.
No one has not.
That's solid.
That's a good one. We've had some interesting ones recently. Actually, like the past 3 or 4 that we've had recently.
It's a lot of new ones. A lot of new ones. I think people are starting to prep for the question and going into the racks. They're like, I'm not saying, Elon, I'm going to find someone better.
Well, we had somebody just finally come out with Donald Trump, but he prefaced it for about 3 minutes before he gave the answer. And I was like, just get it out. We know what you're going to say. He's do it.
This could be controversial, but it would be an interesting watch. Yeah. All right. So before we get into your niche that you've really dove into and have done some amazing stuff with. Just for the listener, just frame up your team structure. How many people?
Yeah.
Do you have buyers agents? Just break down your team for us just real quick.
Sure. It is small but mighty. It is me. I'm the only listing and buyers agent dedicated. I have an operations manager. She's allowed to do 4 to 5 of her own sphere a year. So it keeps it low, and she runs the operations of the team, and she's licensed.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So you have basically you and one licensed assistant. What about, do you have an escrow coordinator, or does your licensed
She does
assistant?
all of that.
She does all that. Okay. So it's just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Low
Great.
overhead. Yeah.
Yep.
Smart.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, let's dive into one of the main reasons that you're here. So I'm going to get this wrong, but we're going to go really deep into this topic. So you hold the Certified Divorce Real Estate Expert designation from Ilumni. Did I get it right?
Ilumni Institute.
Alumni Institute. Damn, I tried to prep myself for that. So like now we got that. Give us the backstory. Like, how did you get into the certification? Why?
At what point did you go, I know the easy way to be successful at real estate? Work with divorce clients. Like, how did you, I get you have a legal background, but still, tell us about that.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Okay, so the first year into business, just me, and I did 12 units, all listings, and enjoyed it. In the second
It's really
year,
good, by the way.
Yeah, solid.
while dealing with 3 kids at that time. The second year, I had the 4th kid, and got the first divorce referral from a paralegal at a law firm that I knew. And so I thought in that very first one, it was a luxury, and I hadn't done luxury yet. So I partnered with an agent to help me on that side. And she kept saying, I don't understand what the lawyers are saying. And I'm like, I do. I know what they're saying. Let me handle that. It was highly contentious, right? And we got it listed sold.
Divorce?
Oh, yeah. Imagine that. The divorce was highly contentious.
So I don't know, all of mine have been. Never mind.
We were the.
I knew you were going to go there.
We were the third agent. They had tried to sell this one multiple times before with no success because the agents couldn't deal with the conflict of the parties. And I say we because I did co-list it, and we got it sold. And then I started saying, I need more like this. How do I? And it naturally started to lead to referrals from clients to other people and then to an attorney. And in 2021, I got a case where both attorneys told me, the husband and the wife told me, that the husband was probably mentally unstable, which he was. And I had a lot of people saying, be careful for your safety, which we were following all the safety rules. I never went to the property by myself, but he was. And that's when I said, I need more training. I need more. I need to understand the human side of this. I can get the transaction. I know what the lawyers are doing. There's a human component that I need to understand, like the art of the real estate, right? So I had heard about Ilumni Institute based out of California, and they had converted obviously to Zoom platform training because of COVID. So it was an opportunity for me to go and get trained intensively in the course in 2022. So that's when I got certified, and then started to build my business towards the end of that year in this niche.
I have a lot of questions.
Go.
Keith, you want to kick us off?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So first of all, what attracted you to that is, I guess, a question I want to ask, because I see you want to advocate for people, and I caught that from the earlier part you mentioned, but this seems like a very difficult and emotional path. Unfortunately frequent. I'm sure you know the stats. You probably can tell us. I'm assuming I guess let's start there. What percentage of transactions are happening in real estate because of divorce? Is it a significant market share? Is it So
the last stat I have is from the NAR Economist, and it was 1.3 million divorces, and that was a last year stat, so 2025. Wow. So that's a lot of divorce out of the total number of transactions, right? And I don't remember the total number of transactions. So it's a high percentage. I don't know that it's half, but it's a high percentage that are divorced.
And then I'm assuming a lot of this comes from referral from lawyers. Is that who you is that where you're networking? You're networking with them because you're getting referrals. Is that
right?
Is that a first?
Yeah. Let me go back and answer your first question, then I'll answer your second one. why did I pick the Ilumni Institute? Because there are a couple designations out there to help you get more versatile in this niche. The Ilumni Institute is the only one who you are being trained by attorneys, judges, and a real estate professional that is doing this. And hey, they have been doing this for decades. Now, and that was in 2022, now there is additional CDREs who've obviously been in the program for a handful of years that are also teaching students who come through the program now. And that is a big eye opener because you're getting a real person in the field doing this work, teaching you how you implement what you're learning. But the legal side of it and the name recognition for how the attorneys understand the certification is really important. When we can sit down and explain to them that we are trained similarly to how they are trained in their world, that creates an automatic respect right there, that we are not like other agents. We are a certified divorce real estate expert. We are trained similarly to them. We have standards for getting into the program. We have training that goes to how do you be an expert on the witness stand. So when there is conflict, the parties don't show up to allow a showing in. They refuse to sign a contract. We need to be able to come to court, present all those facts, and we need to be a reliable witness for the attorneys. Otherwise, we kind of kill their case, and they won't want to work with us unless we're trained to do that the correct way.
That is fascinating, and yet so common sense on every level of what you're talking about. Keith, I can see you want to ask something.
Well, I'm just, I guess, is there like somebody listening is going, okay, well, like I didn't have 16 years as a paralegal. So, right. Like what's the right temperament or skill set? Maybe if you didn't have that, someone listening is like, I want to find a niche and get rich, right? Like I like that idea and I'm pretty good at conflict and mitigating it. Like what's the right skill set for an agent to go after this specific niche to be successful? Great
question. Most of our CDREs, the avatar for them they are advocacy, growth centered. A lot of our people come from backgrounds like law enforcement, psychology, teaching, education. They have a passion for wanting to guide the parties through this process while educating the attorneys on the real estate component of the case, which they do not know anything about. And that's why this is twofold, not just being good at the real estate, but you have to be able to educate the attorneys on why this real estate thing matters. And you have to be able to navigate that complexity of the emotions in the case.
What happens if an agent tries to do this and they're not, take the certification out for a second, but they're not properly trained on this? Like what are some of the consequences of trying to involve themselves in something that's very sensitive and, confrontational and et cetera? I mean, this obviously part of the training, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is. One of the biggest things is a loss to the client's equity. So the party's divorcing because the agent isn't experienced in how to navigate the conflict. And we may not even get to that point. They may first have the problem of the parties don't agree to the list price, so they won't sign the listing agreement. You can't even get past that. Then how are you going to get to getting the property on the market for the right price, let alone what do we do when the property's in really bad disrepair? Do we sell it like that? Do we make improvements? What do we do? So most agents just don't know how to get past the disagreement because in traditional real estate, both parties usually want the same thing, right? Even if they're kind of saying it different, they both want the same goal. In this case, most of the time, somebody doesn't want to sell the house. Somebody's being forced to sell the house. Maybe they also are going through a lot of other things in their divorce case that are impacting their emotions, and they're not going to cooperate, right? So our training really teaches CDREs as certified divorce real estate experts to be neutral, to listen to both sides, and to come up with a method or a problem or a resolution that will help them get to the conclusion, because we're here to get them to the end. That's our role.
Megan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It's just you and me. Okay. I'm just going to be really honest with you in this microphone, and I please take this with like love and respect. That sounds terrible. Tell me why it isn't. It's a conflict deal. One person doesn't want to sell, one person does, and I get to talk to attorneys. Like, miss me with this niche, right? But maybe that's the exact reason more people should go after it, because the default reaction for 99.9% of the population is, right? Like, so I guess demystify that for me. And like, why should I not? Because I think most people's natural reaction is, I'll find a different one. And why should they slow down and push past that knee jerk feeling and have a more thoughtful approach to approaching this?
It's a really good question, Keith.
Great question,
Thanks.
Keith.
Yeah.
In our community, we say, if not me, then who? If I'm not going to stand up and advocate for these parties who they're going through the worst time in their life. They're not bad people. They're just going through the shittiest time of their life. And if somebody doesn't stand up and guide them through it, who? Like, and oftentimes we see nobody does, and they lose. They lose money. They lose the house. They lose any ability to move on, start over, have a better life. So
I love that answer, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's really like, so many people say they got into this real estate business because they love helping people, but I only want to help them when it's kind of easy. Like, I don't want the hard one having to help somebody, right? The really hard one. That feels, I don't want that one. Yeah.
And I run to that.
yeah. That's my point, is like, we all should be, right? Like, it shouldn't be this thing that we lean away from. I just think, I think a lot of agents might, and I love, one, that you're having the courage to do it, then to talk about it and do it in this sort of, I mean, I don't know, it's Friday afternoon and I live in Northern California, but in this sort of love-centered way, right? Like, in this, let's all help. Let's help these. They need help. Let's help them. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. Yeah.
Well, so I have a follow-up on this. Was like, so there is that, makes total sense. And I can just tell that about you. That would make complete sense that you would go down that road. And I'm glad you're doing it, because it's the worst point in someone's life. They're just in a mess. And they need someone to advocate. I'm going to swap this around. So I'm assuming in this line of business, because I kind of was leading to that earlier, but you're networking with lawyers. I'm assuming, is that the primary source for business, is lawyers, because they're going to a lawyer first to get divorced, and the lawyer's like, we need to bring in somebody to help sell the property, and there's a specialist. So, but my brain's going, okay, so you're networking with them, you do a good job, you become their go-to, and I'm assuming it becomes kind of this sort of constant stream of opportunity. Is that a fair statement?
Correct. Yeah. So this niche is also a niche that really can help you have consistency in your business and control your time, so you can have that work-life balance, right? These all are motivated sellers. They have to sell. They cannot keep the house. Either one of them, they are required to sell. Oftentimes the court orders them to sell the property. So at some point it will be sold. Even if it does take time, it will still be sold. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, when we start networking with these attorneys and we build a rapport and trust, and they begin to trust us and see how we are different than other agents, it's typically a phone call or an email. I've just appointed you in a case. Here's the information. And then we're off to the races and we start doing our job, right? It's not a lot of, I got a cold call, I got to do all the other crazy, post 55 things on, so all the other things that our industry
TikTok
does.
dances. Right. You're not doing TikTok dances? No, me neither.
No, not doing those. No,
not yet.
No, I just opened my email.
If the economy doesn't get better soon, kids, I might be. So be on the lookout for my new TikTok page.
I mean, I follow you on TikTok doing a dance.
Everybody would. I'm actually, we might talk about this later, James. Can I ask a follow-up, though? Yes. Because you mentioned being neutral, which I believe is really important in this. And in an industry where we tend to act like we're the bodyguards of our client, right? Or we're these, how do you, like, you're sitting across from two people who can't agree. And then usually it's our job to get them to agree, right? But I feel like in this situation, it's your job to be neutral and just answer questions, or like, how do you do that?
Yeah. So let me touch on neutrality, and then I'll answer how I do that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a neutral, we are not choosing a side. So oftentimes what happens.
What we call them? You're a neutral?
We're a third party neutral. Yeah.
Okay.
Because oftentimes the couple that's divorcing will say, hey, we're going to just hire Sally, that's Bob, the husband's sister, to sell the house. Well, she's already impartial. She's automatically impartial to the situation. Okay.
It's Bob's sister.
Yeah. Right. Or we're going to hire our best friend. Okay. Or we're going to hire the agent that sold us the house. Not always bad things, but they sometimes come in here with a bias to the situation. Whereas the neutral who doesn't know either party or the story, the backstory, comes in with no bias. Clean. Right. Okay. I'm not choosing sides. I'm not here to choose sides. Yeah. And we as CDREs will conflict ourselves out if we know them or have a bias. That happens often.
Sorry. Conflict us out. What does that mean?
So as an example, I had friends that go to church with me that hired attorneys that I know and work with and wanted to hire me. But because I have a personal relationship with them, I'm conflicted. I cannot work on that case.
Yeah, I knew. I just want to make sure the audience knew. Keep going. You're doing great.
You're good.
I did a really good job of making the for people who didn't see it on YouTube. It was like
you did great. Yeah. James knew too, by the way.
Okay, so how do we get them on the same page? And this again, it comes to our training
how do you get them on the same page and stay neutral? That's the part that I'm sort of stuck on, right? Like, yeah.
Great question. And there's two components. So our techniques really in our process automatically separates them. We don't put them in the same room. We don't put them on the same Zoom, right? They're going to eat each other for lunch anyways. That's the first thing we don't do.
Smart.
And we understand what their goals are for their process. Like that do you need to get out of the house or are you already out of the house, right? We go through what they're looking for, how they're going to do it. We get what they want by staying neutral, just listening. Like you said, listen for everything. Okay, great. You want to list it at 500,000 and you want it to be sold in a day. Great. Go over here to the next person, talk to them. They want to list it for 400,000 and take 5 months because they're not invested to sell, right? They want to stay in this sucker as long as they can. Now we have two different objectives, two different things that people want, but we need everybody on the same page. This is when you really bring in that art to talking through it and we come up with a plan that will work. And I often will sit down with these people and remind them why we're doing this in the first place, make the suggestion and show them how the suggestion is going to get them to what they want. And typically by going through that conversation and reminding them, you just want your money so you can move on. This is how you get your money. Gets them
closure.
Whatever it is they want, you got to remind them of that. And they will come to an agreement. So that's how I kind of remain neutral and keep them on the same page and get a resolution out of them to sign the contract, pick the price, whatever it might be.
I'm listening to this going, why would an agent who is not certified ever touch one of these? Because it's destined to be a disaster because they don't know anything you just said, which they won't. Like Keith and I wouldn't know what to do. We've never been trained on that. Like you inherently would start to pick bias because you're listening to these stories going like, I want to advocate for this person. No, you can't. You have to stay.
Right.
So I guess that's a question also. Agents, do agents refer business to you as well? Or they should be doing that more? Like, how does that work?
They should. They should be doing that more if they are truly feel like they cannot serve in this role and cannot do everything that's needed to be. We also want to understand that not every case has high conflict. Some are very amicable divorces. Everybody's in agreement. Everybody signs. It's sold. It's done. And maybe a typical agent can do that. Now, here is where I would be very concerned. And this just happened in the last 2 weeks. They're selling due to divorce and the agent discloses that information to the buyer's agent. This happened to me. I was the buyer's agent during the negotiation process. That's not something that should ever, ever, ever be disclosed. It's a violation of fair housing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help your client or the other party, obviously. Now, I did not use that in any way to benefit my client. Wish they hadn't told me that. But that's one of the first mistakes. So I would just say, please don't do that. And if you are going to stay in this role as an agent, talk to somebody. Refer out's always an option. But talk to somebody who works in this niche and your broker and get some advice there. So that's one of them. I think your second part is just what I would really want to touch on is in Ilumni, we have over 100 active CDREs throughout the country. We have over 300 who have been trained, but actively.
CDRE is just the abbreviation for the designation.
Certified Divorce Real Estate Expert. Yep.
Keep going.
And the ones in the field, they're all over the country. So you can find somebody in your local metroplex or maybe the next closest metroplex and talk to them about this. Maybe that's your referral source, or maybe this is something you want to get into because you have a passion for serving in a community like this.
So I got a more like back to the deal sort of tactical question. You gave us really good insight into how to manage and navigate the client and getting to the listing. How do you navigate and manage the agent on the other side? You know, when they're writing offers, you mentioned one person said, yeah, they're going through a divorce. You shouldn't say that, right? Like, how is it different in the communication style and the process after the listing and then sort of through the transaction? Are there ways that you have to do it differently?
It does depend on the nature of the divorce. So are they already divorced and we have final orders, or do we need a sale to be approved by a judge? You know, where are we at in their legal case will tell me how much time I need to have to review offers. Oftentimes I give an expectation that there won't be a review of offers for at least 24 hours, just so I can set a beginning expectation. If there needs to be more time because I have to go to court and get something approved, then I'm going to say we need 2 or 3 days. And typically there are multiple people involved in this sale. So I have to talk to each person in order to get this approved. You know, I need some more time. Now, each state, I will say, has different timelines for replying to offers. So you do have to check that. My state in Texas is a little different. We don't have any hard deadline. We have kind of more of a informal, you need to get back to us in about 2 days kind of a thing.
That sounds real Texas.
Yeah.
That sounds real Texas.
California would be 2 months, but you're fine.
Yeah. And then two extensions if you need them.
Right. And so we give that expectation up front. Oftentimes in our offer suggestions or offer success, we're going to need 24 hours to respond to you, that kind of a thing. Then when we start negotiating repairs, we set an expectation early that we would like to see that request so many days out from the deadline. If we don't get it, we might request an extension of the deadline so we have enough time to reply.
So it's a little like a probate deal. You're just sort of communicating. I mean, obviously it's very different, but from the timeline standpoint and the need to make sure that the other side understands this isn't your normal bread and butter buyer seller situation. And if you and or your clients aren't patient people, you may not enjoy this process. Is that sort of the
correct
communication track? Kind of like
correct.
Just this is you preparing them for their reality of being in contract.
Correct. And you might lose a buyer out of that because a buyer needs to move quickly and can't wait on the seller. And that's an expectation we set with the sellers is, hey, if you don't want to lose them, you need to respond to us faster than you are probably used to doing.
James, I have a few like 30,000 foot questions, but do you have you want to dig deeper on the niche part?
I mean, I have questions. I don't know if they're that high.
Go.
Well, so I had some of the research about you guys are, or are you, I should ask, about being hired as expert witnesses in family law cases too. Can you talk about what that means? I'm trying to, where my brain's at with this is I keep coming back to why would an agent ever take this on with how complicated this is? And I'm almost in my brain going, you're almost violating your fiduciary duty here if you do, because it's so complex that you don't have the training to actually do this transaction. Like I've just seen pitfalls all over the place. So that goes to my expert witness question as well.
Yes, agree completely. So when we are hired as an expert witness, it's sometimes as to valuation of the property. We can do like a BPO. We call it a fair market value. And it sometimes is just for one party as their strategy move. Sometimes it's for both parties and they agree to it without a hearing. And when it isn't agreed to
determine on price.
Correct. Yeah. When it isn't agreed to, then we're on the stand and we testify as to our report that we produced, similar to what an appraisal does, but different than what an appraiser does. And so that's one thing. Then we are also brought in as an expert on the case if the parties are not cooperating. They won't move out of the house. They won't allow showings. They won't sign the offer. So now we have the factual timeline of everything that's happened. We've been keeping track of it, and we go into court with our report, going through each one of the steps to tell the judge what's happened and what remedy we need in order to move the case forward.
how many, I'm kind of tying this back. So this is very much a niche that you're a specialist in, and, you know, you've had a lot of training to know what you're doing. What's a typical year? How many transactions of these do you do per year? Kind of trying to boil that down to, like, is it 12, 24 on average, like much as you want to do in the business? Like, what does it look like? Does this your primary business, or this you also have additional business you do on top? I guess is the question
I have a traditional business and I have this, but we have some CDREs that are 100% in this. So it depends on how much you're pushing. It's half of my business right now, so 50%. And that just hit this year. Last year I jumped to 37%, and before that I was running 10 to 20. So the longer you're in relationship with the attorneys, the more your niche grows.
But it's consistent. Like you're just
consistent.
It is a consistent. You're not paying Zillow 40% referral fees out. Like you're doing your own.
Well, and the phone rings and you get a listing.
Correct.
Right. Like I way oversimplified that, because you get a listing that has some tenseness associated with it. It's going to be a process, but you know, the phone rings and they're usually, I assume, not interviewing 3 agents and all that. It's just, Megan, 123 Elm Street is yours. Get to work, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So from a lead gen standpoint, that's the holy grail, right?
Correct.
Where phone rings, get listing. Like that's beautiful.
Correct.
Do you expect this to go? Are you headed towards making this your full business opportunity? Is that where you're going with it?
Yeah. Okay. For me, it'll take a handful more years. I still have a young family, so I'm trying not to do this too fast.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to get divorced.
No.
I'm just kidding. It's just a joke. It's just a joke.
No, I love my husband. No.
Good.
I had a follow up to that, Megan, which I wasn't going to follow up to Keith because it's Friday. Sorry, everybody, for Keith's. It's funny.
She's fine. You're the only one turning red. Okay, I have a follow up question. Not on that. An agent says,
although he might.
No, thanks. I'm good. Megan, you've convinced me. Where should I start if this is the niche I want to get into?
Great question. I would tell them to go to the Ilumni Institute.com/directory, find a local CDRE in their area, and just have a conversation first.
Take them to coffee.
Have a conversation. After that, if you feel like you want to move on, you would go and apply. Okay.
We'll link to that in the show notes if anybody's curious. I got one more, if you're okay with it, James, and then...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
I think agents have this preconceived notion that if I find a niche, it's going to cost me business. Yeah, I don't want to get labeled as the divorce specialist or the investor agent, and so they try to be a generalist because they don't want to ever lose a deal. And my personal belief is you actually are losing more deals by being a generalist. You need to be a specialist. And then sure, when you have a normal, air quotes, normal, friend who wants to buy or sell, you still go do that. But what would you say to an agent who is sitting on the fence about any niche and really going after it? What advice would you give them? How would you encourage them? Or would you just unpack that for us as someone who's sort of several chapters ahead of them in the niche playbook? What would you say to someone who is thinking about any niche?
Yeah. If you're passionate about something that you see can become a niche, I would say go for it, lean into it, and maybe gradually build it up to make it more of your business. I don't think you label yourself as just doing this, and I don't just walk around saying I'm a divorce agent. It is in my branding, but I'm not out there. I'm just a real estate agent. I'm in real estate, right? That's how I talk, and that will still naturally get me clients, in my natural things that I do all the time. But this also sets us apart. When you do a niche, you are set apart as an agent who is a generalist, and you become somebody that the community or that person is really relying on as a resource. You are an expert. You're an expert in farm and ranch. You're an expert in horse farms, if you want to go that far, whatever it is. So you become somebody that everybody goes to for that thing. And and then you also get the other business just by being a good human.
What I love about what you said, because you started with find something you're passionate about, right? And that really, I'm not into horses. I think they're beautiful, and I think,
I'm not either.
Well, you pay for a few. But Sure, I want to do horse rent
Really
property
not,
because it's at the top end of the sales price or whatever. But like, if you're not passionate about it, you will not be successful. And so starting with what you already have an inherent interest in, and then leaning into that and having that be a segment that you specialize in, I think is really, really wise.
It's also the way that you prospect. And what I mean by this comment is, like, we've met all sorts of incredible people, and it is a privilege for Keith and I to interview all these successful people in the industry. It's actually one of the things we love about our job.
Yep.
And what we find is that most top producing agents, they have a niche, and it doesn't mean it's a specialty. Like, I'm only working with divorced people. Like, I think about agents who are like, their specialty is retention of clients. Like, as an example, they are so good at staying top and front and center with their past clients, with holiday events and neighborhood parties and pumpkin patches. And like, you hear this stuff just going, that niche is just relationship in that particular regard, right?
Yeah. Like your sphere, like you want to start with a niche. I'll say it like you cool kids. If you want to like start with your sphere of influence, how about you work that the right way? You knuckleheads. Correct. Right. And then go find one more and you'll probably never do anything else.
Correct. Sorry. Hey, I'm going to add one final comment too, just before we wrap up, because I think it's really important to state. Thank you, Megan, for doing what you do. Like, I genuinely, I have been divorced. Fortunately, mine was not contentious, but I have friends who have been through divorce where it is very contentious. And that sucks. And it's emotional and it's elevated emotions. And there is nothing rational about going on half the time except just tit for tat. The fact that there's someone advocating for them both to get them, like, I think the part I hone in on here is what you said, like, it's not going to define their life. It's a point in your life. We just need to get you past that. And people just need help during that time when they can't see or think clearly. That, what you do makes our industry more professional. And that's the part that I think we should get more, that needs to be honed in on more, is that, there's the stupid TikTok and these influencers and all this dumb shit in Hollywood that all of us who've been in the business a long time think is ridiculous.
Yes.
And then there's the work that you do, which is like the real, the honest, like, this is the real world, not this fictitious thing that everybody thinks it is. And I wish that got more exposure, and I'm glad that we're able to actually make some of that happen today.
Thank you.
Me too.
Genuinely.
I really think I started this with, I think I would shy away from it. And I'm starting to become a believer. If I feel that like natural inclination to shy away, I should actually probably do the opposite.
Yeah.
If I feel like I don't want to, like, I don't want to deal with that, or that makes me nervous. Well, that probably means I should lean in that direction, not lean away.
Yeah.
Because that's where growth is. That's how you get better at anything, right? Is by being challenged and trying to do something that maybe feels a little scary. All right. We end every podcast with this question. If you were an agent, you are an agent. If you were talking to an agent, what's the one thing you would tell them to implement today to help their business?
I would tell them to find a niche they're passionate about and go all in on it, because it will create consistency no matter the market and help your business grow. And
you'll end up doing what you love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, because that's, if you can find that too, like, man, that's the whole thing. So Megan,
great advice.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It was great,
very much.
Great for us. I felt that, on a Friday, this is exactly what I was looking for. Thank you for being you. And we'll look forward to having you back on the show at some point.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Want to accomplish something today? Simple way. Hit subscribe. Then you've accomplished something.